Why is Adidas called Adidas? Most people think it's an acronym. Others believe it's short for All Day I Dream About Sports. Neither is true. The name Adidas actually comes from one man, Adolf Adi Dassler, the company's founder. It's simply a combination of his nickname, Adi, and the first three letters of his surname, Dassler. So if it's just a shortened version of his name, how did it become one of the biggest brands on earth? The answer involves family rivalry, the Olympics, World War II, and a feud so bitter it split an entire town in half. To understand Adidas, you first have to meet Adolf Dassler. He was born in 1900 in the small German town of Herzogenaurach, Bavaria. Unlike many entrepreneurs of the time, Adi wasn't interested in building a fashion company. He was obsessed with one thing: making better shoes for athletes. After returning from World War I, Germany was struggling economically. Jobs were scarce. Money was tight. So Adi began making shoes by hand in his mother's laundry room around 1920. Every pair was built with one goal in mind: help athletes perform better. That philosophy would become the foundation of Adidas. Adi wasn't alone for long. His older brother, Rudolf Dassler, joined the business. The brothers made a perfect team. Adi handled product design and manufacturing. Rudolf was outgoing, charismatic, and excellent at sales. In 1924, they officially founded the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory. It wasn't called Adidas. It wasn't called Puma. It was simply a family business. The company got its biggest opportunity in 1936, the Berlin Olympics. Adi believed that if elite athletes wore his shoes, the world would notice. So he convinced American sprinter Jesse Owens to compete in Dassler shoes. Owens went on to win 4 gold medals. Suddenly, athletes across Europe wanted the same shoes. It was one of the earliest examples of sports marketing. Long before Nike endorsements, long before Michael Jordan, Adi Dassler understood that athletes sold shoes. Despite their success, the brothers didn't get along. Nobody knows exactly what caused the feud. Historians point to years of arguments over business decisions, personalities, and family tensions. World War II only made things worse. By the late 1940s, the relationship had completely collapsed. The brothers split. The company split. Even the employees split. And eventually, the town itself split. People in Herzogenaurach reportedly chose sides depending on which brother they worked for. Some shops catered mostly to Adidas employees. Others preferred Puma workers. People supposedly looked at each other's shoes before deciding whether to talk. The rivalry became legendary. After the split in 1948, Adi had to start over. At first, he briefly named his new company Adidas, but the spelling didn't stick. Instead, he combined Adi, his nickname, and Das from Dassler, Adidas. Simple, personal, easy to pronounce in many languages. And unlike the old family company, this one belonged solely to him. Meanwhile, Rudolf started a competing company. He initially called it Ruda using his own name, but he soon changed it to something much stronger: Puma. One family had just created 2 of the biggest sporting brands in history. Around this same period, Adidas also secured what would become its most recognizable symbol: the famous 3 stripes. Interestingly, Adi didn't invent them. He purchased the trademark from a Finnish sports company called Karu Sports in the early 1950s. At the time, they reportedly sold the rights for the equivalent of around €1,600 today and 2 bottles of whiskey. That turned out to be one of the greatest branding bargains ever. Today, those 3 stripes are recognized worldwide. In 1954, Adidas experienced another defining moment. West Germany reached the FIFA World Cup final against heavily favored Hungary. Adi had developed football boots with removable screw-in studs. The weather turned wet. German players switched to longer studs for better grip. Hungary couldn't. West Germany shocked the world by winning. The victory became known as the Miracle of Bern. Whether the boots were the deciding factor is still debated, but the publicity wasn't. Adidas suddenly became synonymous with innovation. Throughout the following decades, Adidas expanded into nearly every major sport: running, football, basketball, tennis, track and field. The company kept focusing on performance while building partnerships with elite athletes. Then came another breakthrough, not on the track, but in music. In the 1980s, hip-hop group Run DMC released My Adidas. Without an official sponsorship at first, the song became a cultural phenomenon. Adidas realized athletes weren't the only influencers anymore. Fashion and music had entered the game. The brand evolved from sportswear into streetwear. Today, Adidas is worth tens of billions of dollars. Its name appears on jerseys, shoes, and clothing in almost every country on Earth. Yet the origin couldn't be simpler. Not a clever acronym, not a marketing invention, just one man's nickname combined with part of his surname. Adi Dassler probably never imagined that shortening his own name would create one of the most recognizable brands in history. So, why is Adidas called Adidas? Because founder Adolf, Adi Dassler, combined his nickname, Adi, with the first three letters of his surname, Dassler, after splitting from the family business in 1948. Sometimes the biggest brands don't come from complicated marketing strategies. Sometimes, they're simply named after the person determined enough to change an industry. And in Adidas' case, that simple name became a symbol recognized by billions. If you enjoyed discovering the story behind Adidas, you might also like the hidden origins of brands like Nike, IKEA, McDonald's, Nintendo, and Starbucks. Because behind every famous name, there's usually an even better story.